Hey guys, welcome to Bear Loves Film. This is a non-spoiler review for Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. The film starts 3 years after the end of Jurassic World, where we find that Claire has somewhat changed her opinions about the dinosaurs since she first ran the original park. She's now working in a lobbying group which is trying to press for American Congress to make the decision to save the dinosaurs, because the dinosaur island Isla Nublar is now volcanically active, as you see in the trailers, and there's the threat of extinction again for the dinosaurs. Chris Pratt's character Owen is basically given up on anything to do with this. He's building himself a cabin in a log cabin in the woods. The Senate decided that they're not going to help. They decided that the dinosaurs are due to die. It's God's way of resetting, or whether it's nature just redressing the balance of men interfering with the flow of nature. So all hope seems lost until there is the chance of another way to save the dinosaurs. Now, I won't go too far into that because that is spoilers, but you obviously see from the trailers that there are some movement from the island to another location. You see dinosaurs being taken away on lorries and carried away on helicopters, etc. This film has a darker tone to it than the original. It works. It definitely works. The film is quite a rush of action scenes. There's some quieter moments as well. There are one or two genuinely upsetting scenes, I would say. Certainly there were people that were shedding the odd tear and trying to hide it in the cinema when I saw it this evening. There are moments of fear and tension. The filming is such that it builds up on the creep factor. There are definitely signs that the director here has his background in horror and knows how to create a tense scene. Unfortunately, because those scenes usually revolve around the main characters, we never really get the full sense of dread because we're pretty darn sure they're going to survive to the end. Now, the special effects and visual effects are mostly superb. In fact, 99% of them are absolutely stunning. One or two times the special effects don't quite work. Particularly there's a quick scene where a dino is trying to climb out of a hatch while the hatch is closed on it, and it just didn't work. Perhaps the lighting wasn't at the right angle or something. It just took you out of the movie for a moment. But Chris Pratt is his heroic, lovable self all the way through the film. Has some interesting moments in this film, particularly at the beginning, where we have the real juxtaposition where Claire has now decided that the dinos need to be saved, that what she did at the park was wrong. She wants to redress the balance. Although she's scared of these creatures, she's in wonderment of them also, and she wants to save them. Whereas Owen is now of the opinion, well, just let them go. It's their time. It wasn't meant to be. Just let them go. Obviously, as you see from the trailers, that she uses his attachment to Blue, the surviving raptor that he gained such a connection with. We see a lot more of not a lot more, we see a little bit more of the backstory with the training of Blue, and it really, really does bring Blue's character to life. In fact, Blue is potentially one of the stars of this film. Now, this film is what I would describe as, it is a roller coaster, it's a summer blockbuster, it's slightly scary, there are emotional beats in there as well. There's a few bits of things where you think, oh, that's a little bit silly. But what this feels like is a transformational film. This film actually made me think, strange enough, of the Return of the Last Jedi, because the first Jurassic World film was very safe. It was very much a replay of the very first Jurassic Park film, almost beat for beat. There were very, very strong similarities all the way through. It rode on the coattails of nostalgia and was massively, massively successful for doing so. With this second film, we have something which is going into another area, potentially taking the franchise in a different direction. So what we had obviously with The Force Awakens was a film that was virtually beat for beat A New Hope, built on fan nostalgia, was very, very successful for it. I loved it. With The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson tried to transform it into something else and unfortunately failed on every level. So Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is moving the franchise forward in a slightly different way. Where it's going to go exactly, you don't know, but it's definitely going to change its tone. It's definitely going to change the direction it goes in and open it up onto a wider sphere. Now, one of the things that, strangely enough, didn't work for me was the overall film. Because it becomes more enclosed, you go from a massive open island and looking up in the air and seeing huge dinosaurs towering above you into very claustrophobic areas. There's people stuck in tunnels in various different buildings. You get that claustrophobia. So the claustrophobia works from a point of view of giving you tension, of giving some horror bite to it. But what it does is it loses some of that grandeur and the spectacle. I mean, one of my favourite scenes in the original Jurassic World was when I can't remember the name of the type of the dinosaur, but basically the massive sea creature came straight out of the water and took the killer whale bait and splashed thousands of people there. That was a really powerful moment that gave you a grandeur, a spectacle. Like the first film, I remember when I first saw the original Jurassic World, I saw it in, I think it was the Odeon or the Empire Leicester Square, just after it came out, and I was jaw-struck. I was just in amazement and total awe of this film. So Jurassic World gave us some more of that awe. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom doesn't. It gives us spectacle, it gives us excitement, it gives us explosions, it gives plenty of teeth and claws. There are people that don't survive the movie because dinosaurs, basically. So it's a slightly different film. It may be that it possibly gets enjoyed more by an older audience. There are obviously some frightening beats in both films, but I think this is probably a slightly darker film, and there's nothing wrong with that. I did enjoy it, I definitely enjoyed it, but to me it lacked that grandeur that I preferred in the previous film. So in closing, guys, I would say that this is definitely a good film, a good summer film. It could be a little bit scary for the younger kids, as you'd expect with dinos, but it is definitely worth a see. It's worth seeing on a big screen. I've heard it's particularly good in IMAX. I'm not too keen on 3D films, as you know, but if you can see it in IMAX, apparently it's worth doing so. There is an end credit scene right at the very end. It lasts probably 40 seconds and is not worth waiting for. You don't really see anything at all of any merit. If you're a really hardcore fan, you could stay by all means, but 99% of the cinema didn't stay. And if I see this film again, which I probably will do, I wouldn't bother staying for that final scene. There is one, oh my god, I wasn't expecting that moment in this film as well, which could also take the film off in an interesting new angle. But I definitely recommend you guys give this a try, particularly if you like any of the other Jurassic Park films. It does seem rather derivative of The Lost World, but it's still worth a watch, and I would give it, I would say, B. Thanks very much for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Don't forget to give it a like, it's always appreciated, and I'll see you next time.